Hi there, welcome to Victim to Victor, the podcast dedicated to empowering abuse survivors and inspiring healing, hope, and positive change. I'm Verma, a published author, and in every episode, I'll sit down with a guest and embark on an insightful conversation about trauma, as well as practical strategies to start the healing process. So let's get started. I hope you enjoy the show. And here is a wonderful Judith Quin. How are you?
I am good today. I'm in a good space today. Just got a big thing sent off. So
wow, absolutely. I'm so glad that we're finally having this conversation, because you've got so much of value that I know you will provide today for my listeners. For those of you, it's probably the first time that you've come across Judith, but she's a wonderful soul who has helped me personally through my own imposter syndrome. I had a great session with Judith and it really did transform me. She's fantastic. So her company, which is Your Whole Voice, so she helps to liberate us through the sound of our voice. I love it. And we're going to find out a lot more today about what Judith does and her journey. So what made you start this? What made you go into sound healing?
I am blessed. I'm one of those people who has always followed her passions. So it came to me, like literally a friend and I went to an event and we experienced different types of sound healing and resonated with this one guy called Stuart Pearce. And she very quickly did his course, but I was having a really busy acting phase, actually. So my acting career was being surprisingly quite good at that point. So, which is, 18 years of an acting career, and most of it was handing out flyers on street corners and working for no money. So at that point, everyone's like, oh, acting, glamorous. Like, no. Those people who you see handing out flyers on street corners and handing out free samples of things, they are all out of work actors and dancers and singers. So be nice to my tribe. It then took me a while, and then I was ready and I did Stuart's 12-week course, which was amazing, The Alchemy of Voice. And I went through my own sound healing, massive awakening, up-leveling, self-awareness, and deep healing, like opening up those deep wounds that you don't want to look at. And going,
interesting.
So there was one session in particular that I had there. I had been receiving, and I was just literally sounding and crying and tears and snot and all this deep grief coming up from within me. And I was like, what is this grief? And my aunt had died a few years before, but I was like, I knew it wasn't related to my aunt. That had been processed, and it was this realization that I was like, oh my God. And I speak a lot about finding your truest truth. So we have different levels of truth, a deeper truth, a higher truth, but we have the truest truths. And those are the really pesky ones, because those are the truths that we deny and suppress and don't want to look at, because they hold a mirror up to us and they make us realize that we've only been living in our perception, not in the world reality. So this was a moment of really opening up and having to look at one of my truest truths, which I had never accepted before. And at the time how old was I? It was 2011. So I'd have been 36, 37. And it was like, oh, and the grief was grieving the relationship I'd never had with my dad.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. What? No, I've always hated my dad. That's right. Yeah. So it was a massive revelation. And that was in a sound healing I'd had with a woman called Chantal. And then the next week in the alchemy of voice process, I had another dad realization. I think we were working on heart chakra, and I was like, oh, okay, forgiveness and compassion. And it was at that moment that sound healing brought me to compassion for my father. And that was my biggest personal healing.
Wow.
I mean, unfortunately, it did take another 5 years for me to have my biggest opening up of all that stuff, and for me to get trigger warning, for me to get slightly suicidal.
Wow.
Thoughts, not plans or actions. But yeah, but so sound healing really, it opened me up to myself.
Yeah.
And it was after doing that course, then Stuart asked me to come back and help facilitate the next course, so to be there as his support person. And it was then in 2011 that I really stepped into sounding. There was a whole long story, which we won't have time to go into, but ended up with me going to Egypt on a meditation and spiritual journey.
Wow.
Running my own sound meditations for the first time, and introducing other people to sound healing and sound meditation. Yeah. And that's when I started bringing it into my work. Then 2016, I had my blip, as I now fondly refer to it. Yeah. And that was my deep wound healing, like all the, you know how sometimes you have an accident and you have a scab or a scar or something and it heals over, but there's still a little bit of dirt stuck in the bottom. So 2016, like 2016, I refer to it, feels like, you know, that wound had to be cut open so they could just go and take out that little bit of pussy dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you having cleared all my pus, all my emotional pus, that it was then, so 2016, that was the summer of 2016, and then in the spring of 2017 I realized things had to change, and that's when I stepped away from acting. Okay. Because it wasn't giving me anything back, and I was overwhelmed. By that point I was acting, sound healing, still running my massage business, so as a massage therapist to support my acting career. Wow. Okay. So I'd included the sound healing and sonic meditation sessions into that, and then I was also training as a life coach. Oh, and goodness, I was completely overwhelmed. I was doing too much. I live on my own. I work on working on my own. I was single, and there'd been a really, you know, annoying, frustrating breakup. So something had to give. And I was like, right, what's not giving me something back? And it was acting. So that was really hard, because that was all my identity. And we relate so much for whatever your identity is. For some people, it's their religion. For some people, it's their role in their family. For some people, it's their work, right? Yeah. It wasn't acting. Acting wasn't my work. It was who I was. It was my whole identity. So in 2017, I stepped away from that. I'll go back to it, because once an actor, always an actor. In fact, the Globe are having some open auditions at the moment, and I'm like, oh, that's my dream venue. Like, that is literally, I'm looking at my vision board right now, and like there's a picture of the Globe on it. I'm like, so, you know, that will always be a part of me. And I think I'm now mentally, emotionally ready to go back, because I've created different structures. But it was then in 2017 that I really stepped into this other vocation. So I'm blessed. I have a couple of vocations, which is helping people to find their voice. And that is through the combination of the voice vibration sound healing, meditation, coaching, and vocal confidence skills and coaching. So it's, yeah, sorry, long story, but that's how I got here.
No, I love it. I love hearing people's journeys. And a lot of the time it does stem from some kind of adversity and some kind of self-realization. And for you, I'm really glad that you said that, you know, it wasn't only the one time, but even 5 years later, it happened again, because a lot of people expect to be healed like instantly, but exactly, instant gratification, but it's never the case. So for me, it took a whole decade, you know, going through these obstacles, breaking down, like you said, suicide attempts, and oh God. So it's really rocky. It can be a rocky road. I'm hoping it's not for everyone, but just to give you all hope out there.
But, and also that's why people prefer the panacea. It's why so many people choose the, and I'm a big fan of allopathic medicine, right? There's a big space for it. Yeah. But it's why people will choose painkillers or antidepressants or alcohol, right? Self-medication or other drugs. they'll choose that to feel better rather than looking at, because when we do the deep self work, and it is that moment of we have to look at ourselves and go, actually, I'm going to take some responsibility for how I'm carrying this. And I think lots of people get confused when we say, we have to take self-responsibility for our part in our stuff.
Yeah.
And people go, but I'm not the one who hurt me. I'm not the one who, that was them, that it was done to me.
Yeah.
There's a yes, and yes, it was. And you are the one still carrying it. And that's where we have to look at our choices and what we choose. And that's hard. And that can be painful. And, like I'm blessed. I had, there was no physical abuse or any deliberate emotional abuse or controlling. It was just, my dad was incapable of staying faithful to my mum, which meant, of course, so there was a lot of emotional, there was a lot of lack. To all intents and purposes, I didn't have a dad, but he was there present, and their unhealthy relationship obviously impacts on you as a child.
Yeah.
So all my life, it was very easy to, I hate dad. It's easy, right? He's the one to blame for all my problems.
Yeah.
He's the one who comes home drunk. He's the one who creates arguments with my mum. He's the one who I'm either trying to distract or I'm protecting my baby brother from hearing the arguments, or like it was him.
Yeah.
But in that moment of the healing, especially in the moment after the big grief, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, I was acknowledging to myself, I wanted a relationship with my dad, which I'd never done before. I was like, no, I'm fine without him. I'm fine. I hate him, I'm indifferent to him, meh. I'm glad he was the way he was because that made me the way I am, but I don't need anything to do with him. So this sudden like acceptance and admitting to myself that I had wanted a relationship with my dad. That was huge, right? Because then you have to look at yourself and go, oh, have I been wrong all these years?
Yeah.
Has my truth, I hate him, my truth, I'm indifferent to him, that's not been true. That's all been my self-protection.
Defense.
So that I don't feel the vulnerability of the child who just wanted to understand when people talked about, oh, fathers and their daughters. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Who needs a father?
No. Well, also that, but it's like, no. Like they're like, oh, daddy's girls. I'm like, no, my baby brother is my daddy's boy, but daddy's girl? No, I don't understand. Does not. And it took all of this for me to understand that and to acknowledge and accept and not feel bad or guilty about the fact that actually, oh my God, I wanted that. And that actually the anger and the hate I had been feeling all my life was pain and hurt and vulnerability and feeling unwanted and unloved. Absolutely. And when we allow ourselves to acknowledge that and go, oh, but I'm the one who's been holding on to it. I'm the one who is not allowing myself to see and deal with the actual problem.
Yeah.
And when I came to compassion for him, because I realized actually a lot of the stuff that I felt he did to me, like me hiding at the top of the stairs to see what kind of drunk he'd be when he came home. So whether I needed to stay upstairs and look after my baby brother or go downstairs and distract and protect them from being an argument with mum. He didn't know I was doing that. Wow. But I was blaming him for that because I was hiding at the top of the stairs. So I'm blaming him for stuff he couldn't even have known. And even if I hadn't been hiding, he was drunk, so he wouldn't know or remember anyway, right? So, so I'm blaming him for stuff that he had no conscious awareness of. I was like, oh, so that was a big awareness. And then the compassion of, I don't know what his childhood, life, perception, experience was. That made him this way. Yeah. Because a healthy, happy, loved person doesn't need to go off and have affairs left, right, and center, doesn't need to get angry drunk, and doesn't need to, so when I came to that compassion of going, actually, I don't know what he went through that made him that way. So it's looking at those truths, which is dangerous, which is what, so this stuff, it can take time, but also, do you agree with me? Like when the changes happen, they happen like that.
Yes.
It's like, so that for me, those moments when we hit the truth revelation, it's like, oh, and the healing journey goes,
yeah, absolutely. Yes, awakening. Absolutely. It is. Yeah. And I just think, like, you know, that's when you're aware.
Yeah. And then, like you say, it might take another few years, and then you hit another one.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like,
yeah.
But that's why I think people rely so much on other things, you know, whether it's prescribed drugs or non-prescribed drugs or different ways of being or hiding away from it, because that's often much easier than actually doing the deep,
the real
healing
work.
self-awareness and letting go of blame, pain, shame, and guilt. Those are the biggest things we can do.
It is. And a lot of us live our lives just feeling so guilty for, you know, whatever has happened in the past, and shamed. And again, it's about acknowledging those emotions and just understanding that, you know, whatever's happened, it's happened, but you have to forgive yourself and forgive whoever it was that may have harmed you. Because otherwise, how are you going to move on? How will you ever find fulfillment if you're just holding on to all that baggage?
And it makes us look for it elsewhere. And what we look for, what we expect, is 80% of what we get. So if we're, you know, there's no surprise that I'm 48 and single, and I've never shared a home with a romantic partner. And I'm 48. I've never had a relationship that's officially lasted longer than a year. I have one relationship which we're like, well, was it 5 months? Was it 9 months? Was it 2 years?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm 48, and my longest official relationship was 11 months and 1 week.
Yeah.
You know, there are 16-year-olds who've had longer relationships than me. But there's no surprise in that, because of course I was holding so much blame and anger, and I was A, really defensive, so I didn't let people in for years.
Okay.
And then B, you get what you get what your expectation is. So I got men who were emotionally unavailable, like my dad, right? Because that's right, men who needed their own healing journey. On the whole, there were a couple of lovely ones in there, but it's like, yeah. But now I'm really at this point at the moment where I'm just like, I am more ready than ever. And a couple of friends and I, we've created a little thing, and we're like, right, we're all single, we're all in our 40s, we're going to stop hiding in our homes and actually go out and put ourselves in positions where we might actually meet people.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing, you know, and that's part of the healing journey as well. It's looking at your patterns and looking at, you know, have you just gone into more? You either go into more of the same, or you take yourself out completely. And I took myself out completely.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. God, you know, you can go on so long in your life without even realizing, and it's so easy to just keep busy doing other things. And I know a lot of us, we put ourselves in our work, don't we? We just overwork to compensate, so we don't need to actually face our real feelings, our real emotions.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Say what? But so tell us about sound healing. Obviously, it worked wonders for me. I know we had a couple of sessions, didn't we, as well? And I know I'm really looking forward to actually having a bit of a trial as well, so you can do a demo with us all later as well. But yeah, so tell us about sound healing. Why is it so effective? And tell us about the whole process.
Okay, so sound is energy, right? Sound waves travel. And so sound is matter. And lots of people think sound healing, it's kind of, you might not even have heard of it. You may have heard of sound baths, like gong bars or crystal bowls, like I have that.
Oh yeah, you got loads. Oh wow, nice. Okay.
A whole chakra set. But sound is matter, and matter impacts matter. So when you're having a sound bath or a sound healing or a sonic meditation, you're letting the sound waves travel through you. And right? So as the waves travel through you, they meet your cells, and your cells are matter. And so the vibration of the sound waves, and you've got the vibration of your cells.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So the sound waves are matching or impacting your energy of your cells. So your cells are always vibrating. If you look at quantum physics, everything is in a state of movement. So the sound waves move your cell vibration. They literally change your physical energy. The other thing we hold in our bodies is our cells have cell memory and emotion memory.
Right. Okay.
So when the energy of your cells is changed, and when the cell memory is triggered either by the specific sounds or by the vibration of the sound waves, that will trigger those emotions. And then when those emotions are triggered, we feel them. Now, this might be delightful, happy emotions, right? So I'm sure everyone listening, watching has got, a song that will come on the radio that just makes you go, tune. And you're just like, then you're just like dancing and everything feels good.
Yeah.
But you might also have songs that make you go, oh, this was that moment. Yeah. Right, now they're specific. Right, there you go. So they're specific songs, but it doesn't have to be the songs. So because it can also be music that you maybe haven't got a relationship with, that suddenly, and it's the vibration, it's the tone, it's the energy of the music that hits you and makes you feel emotional.
Yeah. Okay.
So, for example, dance music, like house music, used to make me get angry. There's something about that.
Oh, wow.
Awful, horrible stuff. Can't stand it. For a start, I like music with instruments. So,
yeah.
but I'm a rock chick. I'm like, give me guitar and drums and a man with long hair, screeching his vocals. But yeah, there was something about that, the vibration, the energy of dance that I used to get really angry. And my friends were like, oh no, come on. They took me to a club once and I was so livid. I just like, I'm leaving now. And I was sober, which is probably the point, probably the problem, because that, of course, that music was made for you to be on drugs too.
Okay.
But it has an impact. So sound waves impact you on a physical, mental, emotional, and energetic level. So that's how sound healing works.
Right.
Sound healing works by either you will receive the sound. So I might sound on you, or you might go to a sound bath. So you'll feel the waves of the bowls or the crystals or the gongs or the tuning forks or whatever it is. And you allow those sound waves to wash through you and over you. And for a sonic meditation or a sound bath, it's normally relaxing waves. But of course, you have no control over how your body responds to sound. So what might be relaxing to one person might be really emotional, happy, or emotional sad to another person.
Yeah.
So really, it's just allowing your body to respond viscerally and allowing your brain, body, emotion connection to accept and release what's there.
Right.
The difference with voice vibration sound healing, which is what I specialize in and what I encourage others to do, is it's the only sound healing modality that works from the inside out.
Right. Okay.
So when you're just receiving voice vibration, it's a human level. So there's more of an emotional connection to it. And when you're doing it, which I got you to do, when you're doing the sounds, it comes from within you. Right. And you can't deny it because your voice is responding one way or the other to what's there. So we know where the blocks are. And this is the magic of sound healing. When we find the resistance, we then have a choice. We can keep sounding that note, that sound that's making us feel all the stuff, and let the emotions come up, like I described in my big first grief, like tears and snot session.
Yeah.
Right. So you can just like, right, actually, I want to release this. I want to let go of this. I don't need to hold on to this anymore. And because you're actively involved, You are releasing it on a physical level, on an emotional level, and on a mental level, because you're like, oh, this is this, and you're choosing to literally sound it out. So it gives you a way of releasing. So even if you've done talking therapy or physical therapies, once you work with your voice, because your voice is intrinsically your energy, you are changing your own cell energy. You are changing your own physical vibration from the inside out.
Wow.
Sorry, you know, I could talk about this for hours because I'm just passionate about it.
I know, no, I love it. And I'm always for the science about why things work. And I think you've described that fantastically. So, and, you know, you obviously have your courses on this, and yeah, and you also talk about 7 simple sounds. What are they?
I do. Well, the crystal bowls that I showed you earlier, which I won't do again because I think that's what broke off our internet connection. So I work on the basic chakras or energy centers of the body. So if the word chakra doesn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. But we carry our different emotions and our different stages of development in different areas of our body. And there are 7 key energy centers or chakras, and they each have a color and an energy and a sound. And so the 7 simple sounds are the sounds that resonate in those areas which hold the key energies in that space. So for example, the root chakra, which is right down at the base of the spine underneath you, it's for grounding. It is your roots. So if you imagine the roots of a tree, help keep you strong. It's the base of your pyramid, if you like. And the energy for this, unsurprisingly then, is safety, security, strength, stability. Right? So boom, to give you that. But if you reaching those low tones, or if I invite you to sound the sound, so the sound for the root chakra is Ho. And the joy of voice vibration sound healing is there's no right or wrong notes in the way that I do it. Some people say, oh, there's specific notes for specific chakras. I think that's rubbish when you're dealing with the voice. With instruments, maybe yes. But with the voice, everyone's voice is different.
Yeah. So
if you want to do this with me, or if people watching, listening want to practice, it's just a low tone for you wherever that happens to be today. And remember, your voice will always change depending on how tired you are or how much you've been speaking in that day. And so you never, ever, ever in voice vibration work, never force your voice low or high. Okay. Right? You might want to stretch it a little, but never force it. You should never feel tension or any pain here. If you do, stop.
Right.
You just want to find a low tone for you. And we'll start by just opening up the voice. So I'm just going to invite you to do the simplest of sonic meditations, which is a brilliant, you can do this as a 15-second stress reducer. So if you're feeling like, oh no, life's so hectic and I can't think, breathe. Place your hand on your chest and just go hum. And you can close your eyes if you like, and just feel the vibration in your body. Hum. And because 3 is a magic number, we'll do it a 3rd time. Hum. So that's a great way to just, there's automatically, it loosens things up. So it has a physical impact.
Wow. So interesting. Yeah.
So there's a really simple exercise that everyone can take away and use today. Like whenever you're feeling stressed or a little bit frenetic, you just hum on as low a note as feels possible. The reason the hand on the chest is twofold. One, so that you can physically feel your vibration. And for those watching or listening, if your vibration was in your nose or your mouth, don't worry about it. That's just where it is at the moment. You might, if you find it really difficult to drop your voice lower, there's an indication that there's an emotional blockage.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Because allowing ourselves into our chest, allowing ourselves into our heart space takes some vulnerability.
Okay, so that would be
So
a good test for everyone.
It's a good test. If you feel like you're trying to play lower and your throat goes, oh, no, no, not going there, staying in the head, don't want to feel anything, thanks very much. There's an indication that there's some stuff that can be worked on. And the first time I actually experienced sound healing was, I didn't even know it existed, was in a voice class at drama school. We were working on what I now know is the heart sound, because in one of those weird universe is strange ways, my voice teacher trained at Webber Douglas Drama School. And who was the head of voice at Webber Douglas Drama School? Stuart Pearce, the man who I did the voice vibration sound healing with. So yeah,
Universe.
so 10 years before I even knew Stuart existed, I was doing his sounds through my voice teacher at drama school. And she was getting us to repeat ha, ha, ha. And I got frustrated and I got angry and I was tense and my throat was closing and I didn't want to be making the sound. And she came along, she went, it's okay, I can see this is frustrating, but just keep on sounding. I was like, you don't want to see me when I'm angry. I'm not nice when I'm angry. She's like, it's okay, keep sounding. It's because your subconscious brain doesn't want to let people into your heart space because it'll make you feel vulnerable. Wow. And at which point I just burst into tears because of course I heard truth.
Yeah.
And that's when I first opened up my voice, which as an actor was a very practical tool, right? So this is one of the exercises I use for people for vocal confidence. If they want to have more authority and gravitas and for people to understand and hear them, one of the most effective ways of doing that is by lowering and embodying your voice in your chest. But of course that can bring up emotions. Wow. So this is how the sound healing works. So I've already given you the heart space sound, which is ha. Wow. The root for safety, security, stability, strength. So if you're feeling wishy-washy, if you're feeling weak, if you need something just to make you feel stronger, like either stand or sit nice and tall. And I encourage you to put your hands down towards the ground. So your fingertips, palms facing forwards and fingertips stretching towards the earth. So like you're calling on the energy from beneath you. And you just sound haw on a low tone for you. So haw. And you don't have to hold it for long. And just go again. And imagine and really feel the earth beneath you. And you can either draw up strength from the earth, or this is a great one for letting go of frustration and anger. And you can almost send that out of your fingertips and go, oh. But that deeper sound makes you feel stronger, makes you feel
it does, doesn't
more
it?
solid.
Very warrior.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna give you the sounds for the 3 core chakras because we don't have time to go into all 7 of them today.
That's good. Oh no, this is great. Thanks.
So that's the root. That's that safety, security, stability, strength. Give yourself a solid grounding. And if that energy center is feeling, then everything else on top is going to be a little bit more wobbly too. The other energy of the root is letting go, because sometimes, roots grow around things and they hold on really tight. And so this is the other core energy. This is that really important self-healing, self-awareness thing of being able to let go. I'm letting go of holding on to that from my past, because remember, our roots are also what we refer to our past as, well, that was my roots. Yeah. So the other core energy of the root is to be able to let go. Okay. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do for a plant is uproot it and plant it in new soil. And sometimes that's what we need to. We shake the vibrations there in the root chakra to go, shake off all the stuff we don't need to hold on to anymore. Love it. Okay. So the second key one we have touched on already is the heart. And this is to come to self-care. So if you're wanting to be kind to yourself, this is the space of love, forgiveness, and that highest vibration of love, compassion, that we've already spoken about. So when we can come to compassion, we go, actually, I don't know what that person's going through. I don't know what that person has been through. Your boss shouts at you, or you feel like you've been attacked by your boss at work, or maybe you or there's some other situation. But it's like we have, if we can go into, I don't know what they're going through right now. I don't know what they've been through that made them this impatient or made them this angry. And to not take it personally. So it's this heart space, love, forgiveness, and protection. The other side of that is letting go of blame, shame, guilt, and pain. So the hearts, so allowing yourself to come to yourself and give yourself love and give yourself compassion. Be gentle with yourself. You don't have to get everything right. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be doing all the time. Give yourself space. So this is the really lovely space where we come to a gentle hum. So that's that lovely resonant mid-tone, and you're feeling like you're giving your heart an internal massage by sending vibrations. Right, that's, it's almost the sound of a sigh.
Release.
Yeah,
Let go.
and we can, and the heart can just be, allow the heart to be open. The third key sound is if you want inspiration. If you're feeling like, so when you're in the dark space, when you're in the heavy space, I used this sound a lot in 2016. So when you're in that heavy dark space, the sound for inspiration, it's your crown energy center or chakra, or the heart, by the way, is green. So the root's red, the heart's green, the crown is a violet. And this is your spiritual self, whatever form that takes for you, right? And if you're atheist, that's okay. It's just the energy of everything, the energy of all that is.
Yeah.
Right? So it's that which is bigger than you. It's that which you can go, actually, you know what? I give it up to something else. But it's also, it's the energy of the universe. Right? There is so much energy out there. If you're feeling heavy, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling if you're feeling sluggish and you can't get it, like there is so much energy out there. Call that from above and call that down into you. Okay. And so the energy for that inspiration, the sound is he or she, if you prefer. She. Yeah. Okay. I've had people go, why is it he? I want it to be she. I'm like, be she. The important thing is the E, because the E vibrates faster and higher. So it's about, you're literally creating faster, you're creating energy because the vibration is faster. So on a higher tone, wherever it may be for you and wherever it's comfortable without pushing, and you can play. And if it makes you feel self-conscious, a lot of people get really self-conscious with sounding. And this is why sounding is so important for feeling more confident and for self-confidence and vocal confidence. If you start laughing because you're feeling uncomfortable, great. Because the highest vibration of all is laughter.
Fantastic.
Right? If you think about those times when you're just giggling with your friends, or you see that thing and you can't stop laughing, the highest vibration sound of all is laughter.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're doing these exercises and you go, oh my God, this is really embarrassing, allow yourself to laugh. Allow that embarrassing laughter. Oh no. Allow that to just come through.
Oh, I love laughing. I don't do enough of it.
I know. It was one of the things I noticed in lockdown. I live on my own and I work on my own.
Yeah.
And there was a moment in lockdown where I think I was just out on one of my walks, and some, as you're passing at 2 meters distance, someone said something, and I said, and it made us laugh. And I just went, oh my God. And I just started hysterically laughing. I'm so sorry. I just realized I haven't laughed for about 3 months. Oh. It's because it's very important.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there's so much on this that we could talk about, but these are the key elements. It's about physically changing your vibration.
Okay.
You are, and this isn't just in a weird hippie woo, oh yeah, I'm changing my vibration now. It's like, this is physics. You are physically changing your energy. You are physically changing your state, your vibration. And those energies, those states will resonate with different emotions in you. And the wonderful thing about when we do the deep work is you feel like you are completely in control. And so much of our lives can feel like, well, this was done to me, or I have no choice, or it's out of my control. When you're sounding, how deep you choose to go is in your control. How lightly you choose to do it is in your control. Where you're playing, it's in your control. And it's because it's you are at the center of it. Wow. And so it's a really hugely empowering exercise. And it makes people feel, so many people I work with feel like they don't deserve a voice. They haven't got a voice. I mean, you know, you're victim to victor. So many victims don't feel like they have a voice, like they're not allowed a voice. Or so this really is connecting with finding and exploring your voice, who you are, allowing yourself to take up space in yourself, in your own life. Like, even if you're doing this when everyone else is out of the flat or out of the house, and allowing yourself to hear yourself. That's the most important thing first. Before we can have a voice in front of other people, we need to accept hearing ourselves. And this stuff, even the hum for some people is really difficult. So if the hum for you is challenging, just play with the hum for now. Play with the siren to expand how much of your voice you feel and hear. And remember to feel your voice as well as hear it. When you're humming higher, it resonates more in your nose and your cheeks. When you're humming lower, it resonates back down lower in your body. This is about real full self, whole body, whole person connection to you, to who you are now, to letting go, to physically shaking off, because your body is vibrating, shaking off that past stuff, all those labels that you have put on yourself or that other people put on you, the difficult one, the loud one, the quiet one, the shy one, the bossy one, the whatever it is, right? The independent one, the needy one, all of those labels, the kind one, the strong one. I had a really big label I put upon myself, was that I had to be the strong one. So I never allowed myself to be vulnerable. And actually, you know, I found other people's vulnerability, or I found soft people, I found gentle, because I had to be strong. That made me quite hard. And I found people who were gentle, or people who wouldn't say what they wanted, or people who were like, oh, well, you know, I don't mind, sort of like meeker, gentler people. I found them really irritating and annoying. Because, and I know now, right, I used to be like, oh, for God's sake, will you just say what you want? Will you just speak up? Why are you faffing about? Do I always have to be the only one speaking up? Blah, blah, blah. I'd get so annoyed with people like, oh, well, I don't mind. That's okay. I'm not, for God's sake, will someone please? But I know now that the reason I found that so frustrating was because I felt I put a label on myself. I had to be the strong one, which made me quite hard, right? Which made me quite judgmental and impatient with other people. Because I now know what was lying under that was, I'm not allowed to be gentle. I'm not allowed to be weak. So why on earth are you? Right? So we all have our labels and our stuff, but by playing with your voice, by connecting to who you are, allowing yourself to hear yourself and to feel your own voice, you will start allowing yourself to step into who you really are and the glory of who you are. Because we are all born as pure, innocent, amazing energy, spirit, essence, call it what you will. And it's our human experiences that we have a tendency to hang on to the bad stuff and not remember and hang on to the good stuff. So we need to focus more on, actually, this good stuff's happening in my life right now, and I am a good person in these ways, and these are the qualities I have. And then we can step into our glory and let go of our gunk. A lot of my stuff is helping people let go of the gunk and step into the glory. And that's
oh, I love that. Oh, that's amazing. And I love the mention of you know, low vibration, high vibration, because all this is aimed at people to function you know, in a higher vibration, because there's so many people that are still stuck in the low vibration. due to, like you said, you know, the defense mechanism, like, you know, we'll call it the ego. And again, the ego, I know that the ego has a bit of a negative
rap.
Yeah, it does, but it's not, is it? Really not.
No, the ego, the number one job of the ego is to protect you.
Absolutely.
So the ego puts you at the center of your life. So, you know, ego isn't just egotistical.
No, exactly.
The ego is different. And it's so important to allow ourselves this ability to consciously, and the trouble with everything you're talking about and I'm talking about is that it's mostly subconscious. We don't know we're in these patterns. We're unaware. We think there's nothing they can do. So if you want to consciously change your state, really simple way through sound. The simple rule of thumb is this. If you want to calm, ease, relax, and reduce, it's low and slow. So, low and slow. If you wish to revitalize, energize, inspire, increase, it's higher and faster.
Oh. Okay. You're a good singer.
Well, when I'm channeling sound, I have no care. There's no, and this is the thing. My vocal confidence issue used to be singing, because there are right and wrong notes. And I was really worried about people judging me and going, oh, because I had a lot of people make fun of me for singing and loving singing when I was younger. So when you care about what people think, your thoughts automatically respond to your voice. So if I'm trying to make a right note, there's more tension. If I'm just open to making sound, when there's no right or wrong sound, it's, and you've got to remember, I sound every day. So I'm so used to hearing my voice. There's now no tension or embarrassment or care, right? If I do a dodgy note, I don't care, because it's not. And so letting go of that, it's about opening. I've opened myself up energetically and emotionally to not worry about what other people might think about me. Because what's much more important is sharing the tools and helping other people reconnect to themselves. So remember, if you want to calm, low and slow, if you want to invigorate and change your state into an energized state, it's high and fast. And if you're embarrassed, that's okay. Do it, because you'll end up laughing, and there's no better thing to change your state than laughter.
And then just laugh away. Amazing. So you have a 3-day retreat coming up in June, which I suspect is in the UK, because I say that because the majority of my listeners are actually in the States. So
it is, yes. I've yet to find my retreat venue. There's one in Costa Rica that I'm looking at.
Wow.
I know.
Nice. Yeah.
So yes, I've yet to find my retreat venue that side. But if people are interested and want to come to any of my retreats, like if you're that side of the world and you're interested, let me know, because the more people I specifically have who I know are interested, then the more likely I am to go and actively look for a venue there, and then go, okay, you said you're interested, I'm running it here. But yeah, I run 3-day retreats. I run 7-day retreats in the UK at the moment. But I do have an online version of the retreat of the 7 sounds, which is starting on, I want to say, the 4th of November.
Okay.
Let me just have a little look. No, I think it's the 1st of November. It was the 4th of November last year.
Okay. So
lovely. On the 1st of November, and this gives you time to, either start making installment payments or have a look at it and get it in your diary. 1st of November 2022 to the 21st of December, so up to the winter solstice.
Wow.
7 weeks going through the 7 sounds, online, live with me in a Zoom room, in a support group. It's limited number of people that can join, so it feels nice and safe. So yeah, for those people who can't get to the UK, there are other options. There's that live online. I run regular weekly sonic meditations online, 30-minute meditations. Excellent. And I have my membership group, so you can come and we delve in. We have a theme of the month. We can delve into that. That is called the Global Sound Circle. Excellent. And for people who can't make the online live elements, I have on self-study online courses as well.
Brilliant.
So you can go and delve into all of this stuff, and they're broken down into nice 5 to 20 minute easy lessons. So you can do it bit by bit in whatever time slot you have. So there are a myriad of ways to delve into this work and to find out more about it. Not least, of course, if you can work one-on-one with me online or in person if you're in the UK too.
Or excellent,
if you're in the States and you want to work with me in person and you want to fly me out to work with you, then that's always an opportunity too.
Well,
some people think that might not be possible, but I don't have children. I don't have a partner. Right? So, my life is very free. I just have to find someone to look after the cat and I'm gone. So.
Wow, so low maintenance, aren't you? Apart from the cat, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, brilliant. And so how can my listeners follow you, get hold of you, connect with you?
Everything is at Your Whole Voice.
Okay.
You can follow me at Your Whole Voice. Is my Facebook page, is my Instagram page. The Facebook group is Facebook.com/groups/Your Whole Voice. Easy. And my website is yourwholevoice.com, where I just saw them at the back of my eye. You can also find, I have these really practical, for people who are kinesthetic like me and you like something to hold and touch in your hands. I have these inspiration cards, which have different images on them that you can meditate on, and each image has, so this one is sing along. I love this one. It's turn a song on in your living room and sing out loud with like no one's listening. This one I love. This one's howl. This one allows you to howl out your pain. So if you're feeling pain, you can howl it out, or you can howl in laughter.
Okay.
So there's a different image for all of them. Oh, this is my favorite image. This is the laughter one.
Oh, that is my favorite.
I said to the artist, I want it to look like that moment when you're bursting out with laughter. It's like, like the laughter's bursting out of your mouth.
Balloons.
So Sound Your Voice Oracle decks. And there's a booklet which tells you what sound goes with what card and what action that you can take as well. So they're just £22 plus postage and packaging.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is about $29. Postage to the US is about £10.
Okay.
And
they're available
on my website.
Okay. Lovely, yeah.
And they're a really physical, practical tool that you can use as well. So
fantastic.
Many ways.
I know, girl. You've been busy. God.
Yeah. Yourwholevoice.com. And for the events, it's /events or the Resources for Life page.
Perfect. That's great. So everybody, please do follow, connect with lovely Judith at Your Whole Voice. I will be adding all the links on my on the descriptions on YouTube and also the podcast, so that you can just click on them. And
and if you have any questions, I run a monthly free Mind My Mind session, the first Monday of every month. And you just come along, it's 45 minutes, and you come along and ask whatever questions you want. It's completely free, and there's no heavy push to like sell you anything in it. It's what I offer for people who are just going, oh, can I ask you this? Yes, come along to my surgery and mind my mind for whatever information you want.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Judith. Your offerings are marvelous. And I'm actually thinking of signing up to your online retreat, or I'll even check out your in-person retreat.
I have one space left on the June 3-day one.
Ooh, okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor having you on, and thank you for those amazing demos, which I hope a lot of my listeners will practice, and just get in touch with Judith if you have any questions on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brilliant. Listeners, I shall see you in my next episode. Until then, stay safe, keep humming, and keep healing. We love you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Victim to Victor. Subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes, and be sure to follow the podcast on socials to keep updated on what's next, and share Victim to Victor with family and friends to help grow the community and spread the positive healing energy. You may also wish to join me on the path to self-discovery and sign up to my 12-week self-empowerment plan, which will be linked below.